Welcome to the Transfer Exchange Show. We are live, and so much has happened in a week. Steve survived Hurricane Charlie in his caravan.
It was naughty. It was naughty.
It was naughty. Pochettino has left Chelsea. The Premier League season is over, and Manchester United, yes, Manchester United won the FA Cup. Congratulations, Garth, and all you Man United fans out there. And that is the only reason why we have Garth on today, so that he can have his joy. He can have his joy. And what better time to have that joy than now? But first of all, let's introduce everyone. We've got Garth Lewis in the room. How are you doing, Garth?
Yeah, good. Thanks, mate. Good.
I'm good. And we have got Steve K. How you doing, Steve?
Yeah, very good, mate. Really good. Really good. Really good.
All right. Without further ado, Garth, it's your moment to shine. FA Cup winners. FA Cup winners. Most Man United fans probably thought you were going to get a hammering on this weekend. Most fans thought that this was Manchester City picking up the double, but no. The story had changed when Garnacho put that first goal in.
Form is temporary, class is permanent. That's what I'm saying.
The cream definitely rose to the top this weekend. Garth, over to you. Manchester United, FA Cup champions.
Yeah. I mean, I think a few people said it saved our season without a shadow of doubt. A lovely way to end what's been a torrid time for every Man United fan having to watch the drab, non-entertaining football. Even when we won this season, it's not been like, there's been very few games where I've been able to come on here and be like, it's been a great game. Very few. So fantastic end to, otherwise bad season. Obviously took us into the Europa League as well, which is very important. Dropped Newcastle out of Europe, which is just delightful. It's just a little cherry on top of that cake, you know what I mean? Reading the comments about that. Just scrap it. How dare you fake up every Europa League spot? It's disgraceful. You work so hard to get 7th place in the league, and this is what happens. It's disgusting. So, the game itself, I mean, did you boys watch it? Because it was one of the best performances Man United put in all season, and one of the best performances I've seen against Man City all season. They weren't at the races. I'll give anyone that straight away before people say it, but it's still Man City at the end of the day. Ten Hag actually pulled out a tactical masterclass against Pep for once. Like to put the low block in against their things, look for the counter against their attackers, look for the counter attack against them, and it panned out. So fair play to him, fair play to the players. I think it demonstrated how badly we missed Martinez all season. I think that was a big show of how badly we missed that. Great to see, obviously, the heritage of Man United with the youth players coming through and scoring the 2 goals as well. Garnacho, I know he weren't straight through our youth ranks, but we've had him quite a while. And Kobe Mainoo keeps on impressing week after week. Like I said a couple of months ago on this show, I think it's too soon for him, but he has obviously heard that and went, Garth, shut your movie. Shut your mooey, bruv, and I'll show you what it's all about. I mean, that second goal, absolutely delightful. First goal, very lucky, obviously. Ortega, fully. Let me ask you quickly that kid. You saw the goal, obviously. Who's to blame there, the keeper or the defender?
It looks like the keeper. I didn't. From what I'm seeing, I didn't see any communication. I didn't see his lips move. That could have been beforehand. But even then, like the way he's rushed out, for me, I would have come out, but I would have taken a step back because it looked like Vardio was going to get that ball on the header. It looked like he was going to head it back, and he did. He got there. It was just poor goalkeeping. I think it shows that he's not been in goal all season. It was just a rush of blood to the head.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, he'd come in for a couple of games at the end, didn't he? Because of Edison's injury. Done excellent. So, like you say, rush of blood to the end. It happens to the best. You know what I mean? So. And that just set us on our way. I mean, that last 25 minutes, honestly, I think I might have worn a hole in my floor because I was sweaty. I was pacing about. It's like, they're going to score. Then they did. 7 minutes extra time. I'm like, nah, can't do it. I was walking in and out the door like, is it over? Oh, God. No, they're on the attack again. I can't do it no more. So, for Man United fans, a great FA Cup final, a great day for us. It does not expunge what the season has been though for us, which has been torrid time in the league, torrid time in Europe, torrid time everywhere apart from the FA Cup. And I mean, ecstatic. Obviously, it's great to see lift some silverware, got us into Europe. It couldn't have been better for us. And I've flip-flapped on Ten Hag a lot. I don't know if you're going to get into this, but I'm going to say now, I think he deserves to stay off the back of winning the FA Cup against Man City. I think he deserves another year. He done all right last year. It's been bad this year, but the injuries have been almost insurmountable. I think he deserves another year. So, but yeah, fantastic for United and our fans.
All right, Steve, were you surprised over the result? Must have been.
No, I wasn't. I've seen it. It's a cut. It's a look. I know. Speaking to United fans, speaking to I don't know if it was Garth, but quite a few United fans before the game, and probably rightly so. They was all we're going to get battered, we're going to get slaughtered, we're going to get hammered. But it's the FA Cup final, and it's a one-off game, and we've all seen cup finals in the past. And for me, form does go out the window. It's on a neutral pitch, and whether it's Man City and they're smashing teams left, right, and centre. It doesn't matter. And I gave him a chance. I must admit, when I see the team sheet, I was a little bit, I think I went into the group and I actually said, I don't know now. Looking at that team sheet, I was a little bit unsure. But before that, I gave him a good chance. Garth's right. You can't take away with what, has happened, through the season, but congratulations. It makes me sick to say that, but yeah, look, congratulations. And I'll tell you what, Man United is one of these teams where through the season there's been plenty of banter, and I've gone back and I've gone forth, and look, I still don't know if Ten Hag's the right man. I really don't, but for me, the overriding thing of what come out of that game for me was that I was pleased for him. I was pleased for Ten Hag. Look, he's come out with some weird things, made some weird mistakes. He has. There's no doubts about that. But there is times of the season where in games where you can go, yeah, look, okay, and he's been through a lot, but I'm not pleased for the players because I don't think overall they deserve an FA Cup win in Europe because they've been so bad. I'm pleased for the United fans, not all of them, but most United fans I'm pleased for, and I'm pleased for him because I think out of all what he's been through this season, he deserves that. Do you know what I mean? He deserved that day. Whether, as I said, whether I feel he's the right guy or not, that's totally irrelevant. I think he deserved that day, and I thought there was a little bit. I mean, there was a few questions he was asked after the game about his job and stuff.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't like that.
Yeah,
talking about the days before. That was poor.
Yeah, but that's not they're told to say ask them questions.
Yeah.
They're not just come off the top of their head and gone and asked that.
Yeah, they've gone to press him.
They got it in their ear to say, ask him about his job, Gary. Ask him about his job, Roy. Get in his ear. Ask him. They ain't. They're football people. I think they probably felt embarrassed about asking.
I hope so. Yeah, I hope so.
But I know for a fact that journalists and editors and people. It's the editors who make them write the stories. They make them put things. I'm in that thing now, and sometimes you do a little bit. Put something a bit maybe you were not too sure about, but it grabs the attention. But I'm pleased for him. I'm really pleased for him. Does he deserve another year? Yeah, I'm probably with Garth. I'd probably give him another year just due to the fact that, for what he's been through. And look, let's see what happens, what he can do under this new regime. Give him a chance. But yeah, I'm not pleased for the players because personally, I don't think they actually deserve it. But that manager does for me.
I kind of agree with the sentiment of Garth saying, and it does reside around the fact that he won the FA Cup. If he didn't, which I think most people thought wasn't going to happen, I think it would have been a time to just cut it off. But
yeah,
I think the weekend showed that the players are on board with what he's doing. There's enough of the nucleus there of, especially with the younger ones that are on board. Yes, there'll be some questions from about some other players and what he's going to do. I question a lot of things such as the talent ID and stuff like that, but I think that should be taken away from him, especially if Man United are even contemplating bringing in another manager. I don't think it should be him that's bringing in the players. I think it should be Man United that are bringing in the players with a view for whoever comes in can manage or coach the team. Yeah, look, I think that's only fair. I think he did earn it on the week, and I agree. Garth,
sorry, don't you feel like there's a both of you? Don't you feel, especially Garth, like don't you feel like as a United fan you would worry how you can just all of a sudden just switch it, play like that because you have to, and then for the whole season you've played like the way you are? I know Kieran said they was behind him in that game, but for 90% of the season they haven't, have they?
Yeah,
they haven't played for him. I mean, you know what I mean?
Well, I don't know. I honestly, this is what I mean about Martinez. I honestly put it down to he had a couple of key personnel back that really made a difference in that team for him.
It can.
And I honestly believe it's that. I don't believe it's the players aren't playing for him. I think you've seen some players really out of form this season, but also young players that are now learning the game. Hoyland's got better as the season's gone on.
Man United players trust Hoyland more. I think it's been key.
Good shout. Exactly. Great shout. And I honestly think it's a bit of that. Yes, I know where you're coming from, Steve. I know exactly what you're saying.
I'd be concerned.
It was surprising to see. It was surprising to see how well they were playing. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, the first 60 minutes, because it started falling apart towards the end. But I honestly, Nathan has been saying this all year about Martinez. I don't think anyone who doesn't watch Man United week in, week out understands how important he is to Ten Hag's system and how important his through-the-line ball-playing ability is. And it just isn't there when you've got Maguire and Johnny Evans at the back. But yeah, I know what you're saying. Definitely a worry there that they've been able to produce it on that day. But again, we didn't have Kobe Mainoo at the start of the season, and now he's turning up and playing his role. Nacho's got better this year. Hoyland's got better, like Kieran said. People are trusting him. So, a bit of what you're saying, but not quite as much as you think. I don't believe.
Saying that though, I'm like, I asked a question, and obviously I felt at the time that it was a bit worrying. But saying that now, while you was talking there, the last 3 games towards the end of the season, they haven't they? To be fair. They was decent. They beat Newcastle, didn't they? They beat Brighton. Yeah. They won the FA Cup final, and they put in a good performance against Arsenal. So maybe they found out that his job was on the line, and they think, well, no, we don't want him to go. So it could be. There could be that.
I think what's key for Man United is identifying players who can be one rotation, competition, and backup for those players. If they're that key, if you're talking about your season has fallen apart because you're expansively passing a defender who moves through the lines, is that, if that's so key, then you have to bring in players that are his profile, similar to his profile. I've got that in their locker, so you can interchange that. Bringing in, and to be fair to it, I was just about to say bringing in Johnny Evans, but I've seen in Spray about 4 or 5 diagonals balls this season, which are absolute game changers. So it's maybe that was what they were thinking, and it was free. But Maguire, although he's done okay, he's not the guy in terms of the player you need in that centre back partnership. Is Varane with his injuries? Is he the guy? It's time to move on and bring in those players.
Time to move on.
That you can switch out if Martinez is injured. Arsenal had a similar situation. I don't want to bring Arsenal, but we had Rob Holding as a replacement for Saliba. It's night and day, and it does not work. You've got to bring in someone. Swap them for a Jacob Kiddie, or you've got someone not as good but can move with the ball, is happy to play with the ball, can move between the lines as well, and can play in other positions. It's very important that Man United do that this season, and it's very important that the people at the top identify that as well. And it can't just be a situation where people are pointing at Ten Hag after a few games and you've not brought in those players. You've got to you move away from that. It's free, and then the rest of it is in and out. It's one in, one out. It's like Man United need more than that. They don't need those restrictions in this for the next, I'd say, 3 transfer windows. They don't need those restrictions.
Yeah. I think like got you talking about transfer window there just quickly. I mean, looking at Højlund and looking at Garnacho, who look fantastic players for the future. I do think that both of them will be the type of, because ideally what Man United want is upgrades on them for next season, and for like Højlund and Garnacho to be the players on the bench and to have that fantastic backup to come off the bench and to bring in an Elise or to bring in a Tony up front, and then to have like an Højlund and a Garnacho. I mean, the question is, will they be satisfied that? Because that's the big question. But I think they will be. I
don't know, man. I don't know. This is a thing now. I think
this
that
is tough.
Garnacho, especially, has established himself as a first-team player. Like, you can't be bringing in Elise to replace him and have Garnacho on the bench. That's Garnacho gone. I wouldn't have that at all. That's you can't. Højlund, a little bit more, I suppose, but again, he's established himself this season as that. You want to see that progression now. He scored 16 goals this season for Man United. Like, is it fair
what would you do?
To bang him on the bench?
What would you do with that? Because I think it's a good question from Steve, because I think the Garnacho one's a little bit different. I think he's a player now because it's now his second season, because he came in towards the end of the last season, previous season, wasn't it? So it's now his second season. He's definitely more established. He's got a name for himself. He needs to build on that more teamwork aspect, the passing, like pass that ball at the right time. Because other than that, he's an inside forward and he's doing a good job at doing that. But with Højlund, I don't think he's quite there. And I think he probably does need someone who's probably more experienced than him. So you've got someone for the here and now. But will that knock his confidence? Will he look at that and think, I was hopefully going to be the main man next season? How would you play it in terms of the striking partner, or someone to above Højlund or below Højlund?
Seriously, I was just being, as you said it, and people may start laughing as I say that. What I personally would do would go out and bring in someone like Danny Welbeck, Mikel Antonio, bring in a 33-year-old as his backup, where he can learn from that sort of player, but not a replacement for him. A very short-term, couple of years at most, experienced striker who, I mean, people laugh about Danny Welbeck, but he's always going to bag you 10 goals a season if you play him enough, you know what I mean? Or one of them players, because I don't think you can. Now, it'll be 21 next year, coming on 22. That's his time to shine. He has to be the main man next year. We spent 70 mil on him. It has to be Højlund next year, no matter what we've seen of him this year. And I was very harsh on him for a while, but I have seen marked improvement from him game by game towards the end of the season. He looks a much better striker than he did when he turned up.
So if you finish fifth, Garth, would you be happy with that? Would you be happy with finishing fifth, sixth, seeing a little bit of progress and sticking with Garnacho and Højlund, bringing in like a couple of players, like you said, Welbeckish in their 30s, something, something on them lines, Olivier Giroud or something like that. I know what you're saying.
I was just saying the same. Even I've got a little bit like Olivier Giroud.
Yeah, you can go get him. Go get him. But would you be happy with that? Would you be like, yeah, okay, because the way I was speaking, I think the fourth place will be up for grab next season. I think it'll be a number of teams. And the way I was looking at with the Elise and the Tony, I'm thinking, well, that would push you to probably to fourth place, and probably pick it in my top four. I would, with those type of players, I would say that you would probably get it. Would you be happy with another progression season and being like not in it?
Listen, the way you phrased it earlier was that Elise was coming in to replace Garnacho. I would take Elise next tomorrow as well.
Yeah, that's what.
Have him come. I wouldn't have him as Garnacho's replacement, if that makes sense. That would be exactly. That'd be a rotation option. You know what I mean? Not a Garnacho sits on the bench and comes on 20 minutes to go. Listen, fifth, sixth place with Man United, that's not good enough. If we see the progression. If we see the progression like you boys saw with Arsenal, then you have to be comfortable with it. The problem that Ten Hag's got is he finished third in his first season. So anything below Champions League is actually regression at the moment for Man United because he's already done it once. my point. I think this year's position needs to be taken as an aberration. I think you've got to look at last season and this season together and say that Man United, with their full squad, with the back four intact and actually plays week in, week out, that's a top 4 team, even without any signings at the moment. That's a top 4 team. It was last year. We've beaten Man City in the FA Cup this year. We beat Liverpool in the quarterfinals this year. We've had good results this year. It's been some bad results as well, but that's the problem. Everyone has injuries, I know, but I really don't think if you don't watch Man United week in, week out, how devastating it's been. He's had, I think the stat is he's had his main centre back, his main defensive line twice this season. It's a real. It wasn't just Martinez, Luke Shaw, massive parts of that game. Definitely one of the reasons that Rashford's form's dropped so much because he has a great partnership with Luke Shaw. And I'm not saying Rashford would have hit the heights of last season, but he definitely would have done better than he's done this year. So there's more than just those players, the Martinez I'm talking about. So no, I think Man United, in honesty, Tony, I think's off the table now. I'm not a big fan. I'm a big fan of his style of play, but him as a player profile, I'm not sure that's what we need.
Bit similar to Ireland as well. Too similar. You want something a little bit different, probably.
Yeah, I think that as well. I just think that it's a lot of money for exactly what you're saying. It's a lot of money for a player that isn't going to be a humongous upgrade because there still must be 50, 60 mil for Tony, isn't it? They're looking for, surely.
I would 50, 40, 45, something like that.
Would it drop that low?
Is it?
Did it drop that low?
Yeah, I mean, that 100 million was. I mean, we spoke about it, kids, haven't we? 100 million was nonsense. Nobody on this. Everybody would laugh at Brentford when they said 100 million. Said, yeah,
but they got to keep him, didn't they? It was well done for him because they got to keep 40 mil. Steve, that might change my mind. Sorry, when you talk about Tony, I was expecting it to be like 65, 70.
No,
I would have thought it'd be that.
Yeah. So
I think you could. I think you got to look at. You got to look at his age. You know what I mean? And he has. Look, he plays for Brentford.
Who his suitors would be as well. Who else is going to be out there? And I think it's soon he's going to be looking for that move. He's got to be.
Yeah, I would have thought so. Yeah.
Even 40 mil. Do you know what? We need a centre back. We need a DM. We haven't got loads of money in the January transfer window. I would like to see Elise come in as Jadon Sancho and Anthony's replacement. So that's a 70 miller straight away minimum. That is a 70 miller, isn't it?
How much do you think you could get for Anthony and Jadon Sancho?
Packet of crisps and maybe the cab fare to the airport.
Is Garnacho left or right? Does he play on the left or the right?
He plays on the left.
He's predominantly left. Yeah, he's predominantly left.
I'm thinking right, Elise. So he obviously doesn't play in the same position as Elise then.
It took me a second, Ross. Sorry, Steve. That's an outstanding comment. Well done, sir. Well done, sir.
Right.
So Elise on.
Yeah, no, sorry, I was getting confused. I thought I'm thinking that Garnacho plays on the right, so I'm associating Elise coming in and taking a Garnacho on the left and Elise on the right. Yeah. Perfect, mate.
Yeah, well, yeah. So it comes down to transfer budget. That's why when you're talking about striker, in my mind, we need to go and look for a freebie. Gabriel Barbosa's available, the Brazilian who's done very well in Brazil, but is completely untested in Europe. 27-year-old. Like he scored, like he bags in Brazil, but that can't be a metric for just go. But he's on a freebie, and then you've like the money for strikers at the moment. That's what I'm saying. Like you've got to go looking at like someone. What Man United really need alongside Højlund is maybe someone like an Nketiah, that level striker who realistically is a second choice, a second string player, but can give you a performance. You know what I mean?
Do you know it'd be good? Do you know it'd be good for you? Do you know who I think would fit into your style of play? A bit different from Højlund, and I think you'd get him easy. Joel Pedro at Brighton. I think he's a very, very good striker.
That's a 70 million, isn't it?
That'd be quite expensive. I think that'd
be
a good signing.
Oh, Brighton as well.
Tony Bloom is shrewd. Yeah.
Tony Bloom.
What's the Palace man? Mateta. I'll take a punt on a Mateta, something like that. But again, I don't know what the price is going to be. But anyway,
he's going to be paying decent money. I just want to ask you one question before we go, Garth. We saw Marcus Rashford in tears yesterday. Do you think that was just relief after he knows he's had a bad season? He's been under a lot of criticism. What was your thoughts on that?
Well, when I saw him whispering, now I ain't no lip reader, and Rashford haters don't get excited, but I swear he said, "No, I'm off."
Yeah, it looked like that.
So I think he might be I think it might be a transfer. I reckon, the only one I can think of is PSG. I wonder if PSG have bit the bullet and gone for him. And Man United said,
replacement for Mbappe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I
Not
don't
saying play-
before anyone out there. That's not what I said, people. That's not what I said.
But,
Paris
listen, I
Saint-Germain
can't-
have always liked the look of Rashford.
Yeah.
He's a good
Yeah.
profile. He's a good.
Yeah.
Rashford's a good player. Look,
Good manager as well. You know, at PSG as well.
It's tough.
So I don't want to listen. It could just be Manchester boy, hard season, lifted a trophy. But yeah, I swear I saw him mouth the words, "No, I'm off." Like I'm sure of it.
I can't see United wanting to sell Rashford to Arsenal. I'd definitely take him though. He's one of those players, isn't he?
Yeah, it's the up and down form. It's the up and down form, though, mate. If you get prime Rashford,
consistent.
Yeah, if you
Very
get Prime
inconsistent.
Rashford, he is like Prime Rashford is better than Martinelli on the wing, but Martinelli's more consistent. Yeah, you don't want to be spending because again, that'd be 75 mil, 55 to 70 mil. Nah, you don't need him. You don't need him at all. So
All right. It's time to move on. We are going to go on to the player of the season. I was going to go into a couple more subjects, but we've done half the show already. So we're doing player of the season. If we've got any time left, we will definitely do some transfer updates, of course.
Yeah, we got to somehow fit slag off Chelsea somewhere along the line.
Yeah, we will. We can do it during.
I can always find time for that. I can always find time for a bit of Chelsea.
Chelsea. Let's all laugh at Chelsea.
Anyway.
What an absolute mess. What an absolute mess. But it's time for the team of the season. It's time for everyone to get a little bit agitated. Everyone to have their picks slandered. I know. Garth's got receipts, so be careful.
So Steve.
All right. Let's go. The squad builder is out again. First and foremost, we're going to start with you, Steve, seeing as you are at the top. Who is your goalkeeper for the team of the season?
Right, okay. Well, I hope we go like one first each, because I feel the pressure otherwise.
Yeah, of course.
And I don't want Garth picking my picks. Do you know what I mean? So
I don't think he's going to do that.
Well, I haven't got 11 Arsenal players, so we're definitely not on the same page, Steve, you know what I mean, mate?
Oh well, it will be different then. Right. Start with the goalkeepers then. Obviously, normally it's a straight, isn't it? It's normally a straight Alisson or Edison for the past 10 seasons.
Yeah.
But funny enough, they never came into my mind this year. I don't, by their standards, I don't think either of them's had the greatest of seasons. You know, they've had their injuries. And I just don't think they've been great as what they've been in the past. Ortega's had quite a few games, and I think Kelleher's had quite a few games for Liverpool. So look, it still came down to two. Obviously, Golden Glove winner David Raya. And for me, look, it's out of two for me. It's out of Raya and Jordan Pickford. Two with less clean sheets. I think Vicario's had a good first part of the campaign, but I just think he tailed off a little bit. Look, I'm going to go.
Have you decided yet, mate?
How many names you got on that list?
I'm going to only two. No, I'm going to go. I'm going to go for. I'm going to go for Pickford. Right.
Steve's gone for Jordan Pickford.
There's not a lot in it. I mean, Raya won the Golden Gloves, but Pickford just behind. And I think he was like one or two clean sheets behind Raya. I mean, and Everton are absolute trash. So to keep that clean sheets for them was incredible, I think. So as much as I can't stand the bloke, I'm going to pick Pickford.
All right.
Pickford.
Pickford.
Garth,
who have you gone for?
Well, because he's had a really bad season. So Andre Onana in goal from no. There was three positions on this team which I struggled with. Goalkeeper was one of them. So I dug into the stats. I'm with Steve. It's Jordan Pickford, and it isn't as close as Steve's making out either. Pickford, literally save percentage 74% to Raya's 66%. Saves 121 from Pickford, 46 from Raya. But the goals prevented overall, like actual definite goals going in, Pickford 6, Raya 2. But the big one for me that come out was the fact that Raya errors leading to goals 3, Pickford 1. So yes, Raya's had 3 more clean sheets than Pickford, but he's faced a hell of a lot less shots than him. A lot less shots.
Yeah, but he's gone to, isn't he? He's gone to, isn't he? With that defence. I mean, Everton's got an absolute tosh defence.
Yeah. I'm not saying.
I mean, he ain't going to be saving a lot of.
What I'm saying is, if you dig into the stats, if you dig into the like I've had to do with 3 positions, then yeah, Pickford. Because I don't like Pickford. I've got to reevaluate.
He really doesn't. Goff really doesn't like Pickford. I'm starting to think there's something going on there. What's going on?
Yeah,
really,
because the stats are incredible. The stats are incredible. Oh, sorry, I just don't like him. Yeah, but the stats are incredible for him this season. And like Steve said, with that, you say that defence, but when we get into the centre backs, the shout outs for the 2 centre backs as well, their stats are incredible this year. They're not
Braithwaite and Tarkowski.
Yeah, they're not getting in, but spoiler now. But yeah, their stats are incredible as well. But yeah, Pickford all the way. And I can't believe I'm saying it.
I didn't pull out stats. I'm going to be the guy that's just that guy.
Oh, Kieran's got his one as well.
Yeah, no, yeah. I actually did go for Vicario. I thought in his first season in the Premier League, I thought the first half of the season was superb. There was some people that went a bit over the top on it. Second half of the season, I thought that he tailed off due to Tottenham was just all over the place. He did have a couple of mistakes in rickets, as they say in there, but I think I saw every goalkeeper make a mistake this season. As Garth said,
certainly did.
Raya pulled that 3. Surprised by Pickford only one because he's one that because of the way he plays. And he's so aggressive with his style, he usually makes more than that in a season, I would say.
Yeah.
But no, look, I can't really argue with Pickford. I think he was up there. And I think another reason why I picked Vicario, I think he was like one of the only keepers in the top 10 who's made the most saves that was like in the top 6. I think every other goalkeeper in there was like from 15th below. So yeah, I think.
Do you mean saves stopping goals? Because Onana is actually the top goalkeeper for saves. Oh yeah, we're not top 6. What a surprise!
Garth reverted to default mode. Yeah, obviously we're top 4. Man United. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, we finished 8th.
Actually, Kieran, I think you're wrong there. Andre Onana was top because yeah.
Yeah, no, we were 8th. Yeah,
this one's
sorry. Yeah, I'll get my coat. I'll get the coat.
All right. It's good. Oh God! Reality just hit him.
Someone needs to clip that when reality hit Garth.
In there. It is Jordan Pickford. We're going to start off with because I'm going to be difficult and I struggled with this one. I'm going to go left back.
Okay. Yeah, that is a good one.
Steve, who did you pick at left back?
Yeah, same as you, mate. I really struggled. Usual suspects. Well, to be honest with you, left back, we're quite short of left backs, aren't we? I mean, Luke Shaw's normally, I think, who I picked last season. Obviously, he's not going to get in. He's hardly played any football this year.
Robertson's usually in and about, isn't he?
Yeah, Robson's about. I mean, he's been decent since he's come back, but he's been injured through most of it. Zinchenko's been dogs when he's played this season. No, that's unfair. He hasn't been dogs, but he's made mistakes and he hasn't had much game time. So,
Steve, you're admonishing yourself for digging out an Arsenal player. No. You know what? He hasn't been done. I can't say that.
He's like, no, I haven't worked.
Haven't worked with yourself, Steve.
I'm frightened I'm going to get St. Kieran's going to go, hey, that bad. What are you talking about? Come on.
No, he's not been great. He's not been great.
He ain't been great. So yeah, it's been difficult. So yeah, look, I've gone for one. Yeah, quite. Forgive the pun. Left field. I've gone for Anthony Robinson of Fulham.
Oh, good shout.
I think he's had a great season. I'm not one for stats. I mean, I know Garth's the man for that. I don't.
He was on my list, mate. He was on my list. He was on my short list. He's had a great season.
But he was way up there. He's Fulham have done quite well this season. They've had a decent thing. I mean, he's in the window. There's quite a few clubs look at him. I think Liverpool were looking at him. I mean, Arsenal. I would have thought would have liked him. I know Arsenal were looking for another left back. He's probably a bit too old because I know Arsenal looking for a younger model in the left back position. I mean, he's
how old is he then?
26.
Oh, is he? I didn't realise he was
26. Yeah. But Liverpool, I know again. Look, when you got teams like Liverpool, Man City, teams like that, and I'm sure Man United they've kept an eye out on this guy because he's quality. I thought, looking through the others, there's not much there, but not that's the reason why Anthony Robertson's. I picked him. I'm pretty sure he would be way up the list anyway, even if the others were doing well. So look, we've got Gvardo as well, but he's sort of like come into that left back position late on. For me, throughout the season, I'm going for Fulham's Anthony Robinson.
Mm-hmm. Anthony Robinson for Steve. Garth, who you got picking?
I can't dig you out there, Steve. It's a decent shout out to hit my shortlist. In the end, though, I went safe and sound. For me, it was Gvardiol. When he came in, it's one of the players that came in and did take Man City to that title. I know he had a howler, more the goalkeeper, but obviously his header went back in the FA Cup final. But Gvardiol for me, he's looked assured. He's looked good all season in the Premier League for me. I don't think he's made too many mistakes. The stats, not great for a left back. 28 games, 4 goals, 1 assist, but I think it came down to more to the lack of options, like you're saying, Steve. I didn't find this position hard. I just thought there was a lack of options there, if that makes like. Yeah. So, eight Nori, people kept telling me the Wolves that he's had a really good season.
Definitely. No, that's a great shout. That's a great shout.
Good, but I don't know. I don't know.
When
I
dug into it,
I would have picked Doji over at Nori.
Yeah, Doji as well. But when I dug into Nori, like his season's,
Doji.
I think that might be a high. I think that might be a highlight guy because his stats when you dig into him are not fantastic.
Yeah,
errors quite high. Possession turnover
towards the end of the season quite a lot.
No goals and assists really. 2 goals, 1 assist from when you really dig into him, his defensive work has not been fantastic. So Gvardiol for me.
I think that Nori is one of them players where if he gets the move to a bigger club, it's like we'll see the player. But I think people just seeing some of the things he's done this season, where it's like, oh, do you know what? Actually, I think he's ready for the move. He's ready for that step up. I wouldn't have picked Ed Nori. I thought it was tough. I thought it was very, very tough, this one. Doji, I think, had a good start to the season. Had an injury when he came back. Tottenham were trash. So I take joy in saying that as well, as you can tell.
You said that with your chest out, Stuart. Chest out.
I did. But I agree with Garth. I picked Vardiol. I thought that he was integral to Manchester City's run towards the end of the season. I thought Nathan Ake played a big part in that before he came in, but when he came in, he was that difference, and you could tell by the way he started smashing in goals week in week out of nowhere as well. So it was crazy that people were already trying to slam this guy after a few months, saying that he was a flop and stuff like that. I know it's ridiculous how people just want to label someone a flop, so they can be the first one just to say it. But he came
I can't stand it. The first thing they do, kids, is throw the price tag, innit? Or it cost this, it cost. It's not the players' fault that they cost that much. They didn't ask to be cost that much money. Mm-hmm. They should be judged on every other player that's on the football pitch and how they perform, not on their price tag. But that's just me anyway.
Listen, he was my number. If you remember when we did the players I want to see at Man United at the start of the season, before Man City, he was my number one that I wanted in. I think he's going to be a baller for Man City, like a true key integral part to that team for years to come. Gvardiol, I really do.
Yeah, you saw it. It was like at RB Leipzig, and I think we saw at the end of the season that you could get a bit of that going forward with Manchester City. Gvardiol gets the nod.
Sorry, Anthony, I tried.
Back swat.
He was on my shoulder. Like he was next down. He's had a great year. It was Gvardiol done better.
Gvardiol gets the nod. It's time for that right back spot. Steve, who have you picked?
Yeah, again, look, I'll say again, like usual suspects, not getting in like not other years. I don't think Kyle Walker's been great this season. Reece James has been injured for all of it. Comes back, does brilliant in one game, gets sent off the next. I mean, Trent's not been wonderful, is he? And he ain't really played in that position. For me, it's only one. Been consistent from the first day of the season to the last day.
One.
I think so, mate. I think so. After looking at the ones he's up again. Well, I tell you who's done well. I think Pedro Porro of Spurs.
I was just about to say. I think there's a couple, but I would have said
he's done quite well. But it's got to be Ben White.
Yeah, I think honourable mention for Malo Gusto as well. I think he's looked very exciting this season.
Yeah, no. I mean, I think it's like, he's not going to go to the Euros. We all know the story. We don't have to go into it. I'm sure everybody's watching knows the story as well. But he's going to be a big miss in the Euros next month. But I think he's been far the best right back consistently through the season. Yeah, and I still think he's underrated, and he don't get enough praise from, from rival fans and even some Arsenal fans to a degree. But for me, Ben White is my right back anyway.
All right, Ben White gets the nod for Steve. First Arsenal player in there for Steve. Garth, who are you picking?
This was the second of the three positions that I really struggled with. The right back position. Did a deep dive on the stats. Shout out to Alfie Durhey at Luton. Incredible stats.
That was the other one I had because he's left wing back, isn't he? And left midfield.
Is he left back? I thought I had him down as right back. Is that him down? Oh, that's
he's pulled that one out of the bag there.
I totally forgot about that one. He played left wing back and left midfield this season, and I think he's one of them players who I think you need to watch ex Charlton as well. Ex Charlton, shout out to Charlton's youth development there.
Just on the base stats, considering he's playing for Luton, 37 games, 2 goals, 8 assists. You know what I mean? Yeah. For Luton, when you dig into him,
I expect him to be in the Premier League next season.
Yeah, I think people will be looking at him.
Yeah, definitely. So when it comes down to it, there was 3 names that came out, all English: Ben White, Kyle Walker, and Trippier. And for me, because I just couldn't separate them, it came down to Kieran Trippier. He's got a better tackle percentage than the other 2. He's got less errors than the other 2. He's got better tackles per game than the other 2. He's got 10 assists this season, even though he only played 28 games. Just literally, he beats Ben White and Walker in every stat that I looked at pretty much. So I went with Kieran Trippier, but I mean, it's Rizla paper thin. There is, I like Kyle Walker. It feels like he's had a bad year, he's not up to standard, but he's actually been one of his standard good years. It's just that we expect that from him, I think. So, Kieran Trippier for me, but again, Rizla paper between the 3. It really is. I'm not going to die on a hill at this right back position.
Yeah, I think shout out to Pedro Porro, like Steve said, he's been very, very good this season, especially going forward. Very exciting player. Gusto, very similar, but I think he's better defensively than Porro, so I think he's definitely one to watch going forward. I think Chelsea have picked a gem there, but I agree with Steve. I'm going for Ben White. 8 goal contributions this year. I know Trippier got 11, but Ben White scored 4 goals this season. I think he's defensively. I think he's been excellent. I'm picking Ben White. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So for me, it could be, honestly, it is a Rizla play, but they've all been excellent, and obviously Arsenal comes second. So I think Walker's the bottom of the 3. So it came down to Ben White and Trippier, and my anti-Arsenal bias come through, and I picked Trippier. So.
I think the dropping standard from Walker's got something to do with it as well, because he got every season he's set this standard for himself. And if you're going to drop a lot below that standard, then there's something right in the game.
He really hasn't.
It seems like watching it.
The eye test. The eye test 100% feels like he has, but he really hasn't. His defensive stats are as good as they've ever been for Man City. I don't think he got as many assists as he usually gets, but apart from that,
Oh yeah, watching a few Man City fans that I talked to on couple of podcasts that I've watched, they're like, get rid of him, his liability. And I'm like, okay, I don't think he's had a good season, but it's a lot of Man City fans. It's not just like the odd one, or whether it's his age, and they're not seeing him. But again, like I feel it's because of his standards that he's set.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
I spoke about this with Garth earlier with the Haaland effects, like because Haaland came into the Premier League as such the big hype, and he hit his first season, broke records, and smashed it. And the next season, people are like, "Oh, Haaland's been poor. He's been poor. He was top goal scorer in the league. Scored 27 goals. What are you talking about? Poor."
League
Like when Gabriel Jesus plays 31 games, scores 12 goals, and it's like, "Oh no, strikers rushed on their goals." Haaland plays 31 games, scores 27 goals. It's like, "Oh no, it's not good enough. He's like a League Two player outside the box." Like, what do you want? Do you want a striker that scores goals, or do you want someone that builds up play? That make your mind up. The standard that people set, that's not the standard of every other player. Now, if you're going to hold Haaland to that standard, if you're going to hold, this isn't a dig to you, but if you're going to hold Walker to that standard, then you've got to hold everyone else to that standard. Just because their season's not as good, I think people are looking at that and going, it's been poor. But when you look at it as a whole, I think you take a step back and you look at it as a whole, I think then you'll see that these are just exceptional players and they've just set a high bar. And this is actually a good standard when you look at what everyone else is doing.
Yeah. As I say, they set a bar, didn't they? They set a standard.
They've set a bar. They've set a bar, which is ridiculously high.
And Man City fans, I speak to them, and like, I think where they do watch them so much, obviously they're the best judge of seeing how good their players are. So they've probably seen Walker at like the world's best right back. So when he becomes, say where he's a 10 out of 10 every week, but when he becomes like a 7.5 and an 8 every week,
he's still top 3 right backs in the Premier League.
Get rid of him.
Which is not the best in Europe. He's just one of the best in Europe.
Get rid of him. Get rid of him.
Yeah, like I said, be careful what you wish for, because the standard that Walker's set, bringing in that player and expecting him to even be at the standard that you're talking of, the not good enough Walker is a high ask. Is a big ask. I wouldn't be too quick to be replacing Walker. I'd be looking to keep Walker there and bring in the one who's going to replace him now, but still have Walker there at the same time. Steve, centre back. Let's go. Give us two. Give us your 2 centre backs, because we're 10 minutes from what the show's finishing. We ain't going to finish on time, but let's give it a chance. Let's give it some hope.
They were
27 centre backs.
They're enjoying it. The 343 people that are watching, press the like button.
But we're talking to you, so get in the comment section and let us know who you would have in centre back partnership. Steve, what you got?
Right, 2 centre backs. Right side is centre backs William Saliba. I don't think there's any doubt whatsoever. Two quick shout outs to mediocre centre backs. Ruben Diaz, who plays on the right as well, good, excellent centre back. And to be fair, I got another shout out, another Tottenham player. I can't believe we're going to be another Tottenham player.
I know.
Also plays on the right hand side, and talk to Tottenham fans. They say he's had a great season. Bit of a bozo at sometimes. Christian Romero apparently had a great season. Apparently really been good.
Van der Ven.
No, well, I'm going to say him next for the next one, but look, it's right side. Saliba's been outstanding this season. Probably the best centre back. One of the best centre backs in Europe, if not the world. So young still, got so much to come. Man of the match performances this season against all the big clubs. No brainer. It's got to be William Saliba. And sorry, and the one
drop
beside
mic moment. You've got to put the mic up again.
and beside him, it's got to be his mate. It's got to be Gabriel. We've spoke about him many a times on the Arsenal show. Tune in tomorrow, people, 8:00. Got to get plugged in. So it's got to be Gabriel, mate. We've spoke about him. We've said how, like me and you feel sometimes this season, probably 60-40, that he's been even better than Saliba, and he doesn't get his props. Look, Van Dijk, Van der Ven, been great also this season, but I think they've had times when they've dropped off. Again, similar to Ben White with Gabriel, just constant all season. Been amazing. So for my 2, Saliba and Gabriel.
All right. Garth, who are you picking for your partnership?
Yeah, I mean, just to Gabriel stats, not as exceptional as you think. Saliba, definitely number 1, and then it's Ruben Diaz, and that is literally it is unquestionable by the stats. It has to be Ruben Diaz and William Saliba without Ruben Diaz off the chart, as is Saliba. Gabriel, if you go to fbref.com that marks all the stats, they have Gabriel down as 6th, below Van der Ven, below John Stones, below Virgil van Dijk when you put it all together.
That shows you how nonsense the stats are.
So yeah, big shout out to Tarkowski. He's done a great job at Everton. Big shout out to Ezri Konza at Aston Villa. Big shout out to Konza. Great stats there as well. Mickey van der Ven, like Steve said. But yeah, for me, Saliba and then Ruben Diaz.
All right. I'm going to be controversial because that's what I do, because I can. Yeah.
You can't be. You're not. You're not.
You're putting Harry Maguire in.
You're not.
No. I think, look, stats will tell you one thing, but I've watched these two play all season, and Gabriel has been better than Saliba. Like stats, 100%. We can talk about key stats and in those moments, but stats is like a bikini. It only shows you so much. There's other good things underneath it. Trust me.
It shows you so much. That's a great one, mate. There was a pen. I'm going to write that down for the next one. Write that down. Got me notes.
And I've seen Gabriel do John Terry like defending this season, putting his head in places where people won't put their feet. Yeah, and Gabriel has done that. William Saliba has been brilliant, and especially towards the end of the season, I think William Saliba in those matches, some matches, has been outstanding, exceptional. And where he is more on the ball, or maybe pushes the ball forward, but as a defender, what I'm watching week in, week out is the absolute colossus that is Gabriel. He goes in. Yeah, he's going.
Well,
for me,
me and Steve have both picked Saliba as well, so I'm guessing it's going to be pretty easy for the next one.
Yeah, well,
it's
who
did you say? Oh, you picked Saliba as well, didn't you? Saliba.
Yeah. I had Saliba. That's an eye test thing, though. Sorry, Kate. I think Saliba's just classy, isn't he?
Look,
and that's what it. And Garth, that's what it is. Like, look, people will say that Gabriel's got a mistake in him. It's an unfair. Yeah, everyone's got a mistake in him. Saliba's got a mistake in him because he looks pretty and looks really good on the ball and will drop a shoulder and do a little Cruyff turn in the box. People forget about the mistake he's made. And because Gabriel was about to bundle through 3 players and taken them out and clattered them, they're like, he's got a mistake in him. Yeah. It's really unfair. It's really unfair.
Yeah. There's a couple. Some people not overrate Saliba. We know how good he is, but. Yeah, we've seen like when we've given ratings on post-match shows, Arsenal fan TV would be like, we give him a 5, then I'll turn on the next day, watch there, be like 10, unbelievable. Yeah. Did you see that Cruyff turn? I think he's been done by that a few times. But yeah, look, I can't argue. The stats are there. Ricky van der Ven, I think, has been excellent this season. Diaz again, excellent. That pace he's got is unreal.
Yeah. Ricky van der Ven. If Man United weren't in such a poor position, I'd be like Man United to buy Ricky van der Ven because
again another one. If you remember, I mentioned him at the start of the season, didn't I?
Yeah, because Tottenham are Man United's old feeder club. Like it's just, but that's been cut off for a while now.
Yeah, 2 Dutchmen together would be a good partnership with Martinez.
So the partnership looks like it is Gabriel and Saliba.
This team reeks of Arsenal bias. Reeks of it already.
Best team in the country, mate. They're all going to get in.
Who's give us your 3 midfielders, Steve?
3 midfielders. Right, at the base of my midfield, I can't stand the bloke. Awful mentality, as far as I'm concerned, anyway. And that's Rodri. He goes in as the 6. I'm just doing Man City a favour here because I could have put Rice in the 6 and then Rodri wouldn't have got in at all. So I think they've got something to thank me for. So yeah, you're more than welcome, Man City fans, to squeeze your player in. So Rodri in the 6, then it's got to be Declan Rice in the 8 for me. He's played there really for a lot of the season. Seems that that's going to be his position for next year, although he can fit into the 6. I think he's just as good as Rodri in the 6 as well, personally. Been outstanding this season. Been absolutely incredible. Never lower than a 7 out of 10. Massive price tag. I mean, nobody even mentions it, does it? Nobody even mentions the price tag. You know, we've said it enough. Unbelievable. So he's got to go in for me in the 8, and in the number just in front of him there, it's got to be the man, isn't it? It's got to be Martin Odegaard. It's got to be Martin Odegaard.
It certainly doesn't. It certainly doesn't. But we'll get into the stats in a minute, Steve.
It's got to be Martin Odegaard. He's what he does on a football pitch, nobody in the Premier League does in that position.
Oh
nobody.
God.
Nobody.
Oh.
Absolutely nobody. He plays for Arsenal as an 8, as a 10, as a 6, as a right, as a left. And you talk about people who don't watch like their teams go off. Just watch him. He is incredible. And this guy is only going to get better and better and better and better. Since Havertz has come in the team, he's gone up to a different level, believe it or not. He started off the season slow. People say he was ghosted in games. You know, he's apparently ghosted in the Champions League. With 2 of them games he won for us. He's all season. Look, he's incredible. I can't praise this guy highly enough. He's good at everything. There's nothing that he can't do. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And Man City fans go, oh, De Bruyne. De Bruyne can't do. De Bruyne is incredible.
Oh,
right?
Careful, Steve. Careful
No. De Bruyne is incredible, right? Probably will go down as a Premier League great, or will go down as a Premier League great. But you can't.
Yeah, even the internet weren't having that.
Man City fans.
Yeah, even the internet weren't having that nonsense from Steve. Even the internet was like, "No, mate, I'm going to save you.
You're in a rainy night on Tuesday in Stoke.
I'm going to save you now, Steve." Even the internet weren't having that, mate.
No, he can't do the box to box. You know, he's too old for that now, right? He can't do that. You give De Bruyne the ball, and he'll put it on a plate. He'll put it to you. He'll do this incredible through ball, and he does it the best in the world. But that's him. Odegaard does it all, the whole lot. And this season, he's been consistent from day one to the end of the season. De Bruyne has had injuries. He's had times where he's not been on the pitch. He's been on the substitute bench. Odegaard's been on there 90 minutes all the way through. And it's not all about stats and what his assists and what his goals. The work rate that he does. You know, the cover that he does, the work he does on the pitch. He's Arsenal's captain as well. He does everything. You know, for me, it wasn't even a question. I'm not questioning De Bruyne. We all know what De Bruyne is. There's no need to go in and like have a conversation about him. He's incredible. But this season, there's no way De Bruyne's been better than Odegaard. No chance.
I think you're talking about the wrong player, if I'm honest, Steve. I don't think De Bruyne's even in the conversation, if I'm honest.
Sorry, mate?
I don't think De Bruyne's in the conversation for that position this season.
No, for me, I know you're going to say.
He missed half of it.
I know you're probably going to say, but I'd put him somewhere else.
So you've gone for Declan Rice, Odegaard, and Rodri. Garth, who's your 3 in central midfield?
I mean, the base of it, the 2 in the middle is very easy this season. It's Rice and Rodri. Yeah. Rodri is the best player, number 6 in the world. I don't care what Steve's trying to say about Declan Rice. Rodri is phenomenal. The stats prove it. The stats prove it. Everything that he's done this season, he's above Declan Rice in. The third position I really struggled with was this A in centre. Now, I knew that you were going to start banging on about Odegaard, so I dug into them stats of Odegaard. Bruno Fernandes has had a better season than Odegaard.
I can't.
Bruno Fernandes, 8 goals, 10 assists. Odegaard, 8 goals, 10 assists. Bruno Fernandes, more chances created.
You got to get off the stat train,
more big chances created per 90 minutes.
I've got to give you a Trossard. Do this. Get Trossard.
More passes equal into shots. More passes into the opposition area. Fernandes has been better than Odegaard this season. And I'll use what you said about Pickford. He's been playing in a dead team. And he beats him in almost every attribute. I can't lie to you, lads. I think you're being harsh. For me, it's either De Bruyne or Fernandes. I've went with De Bruyne because it's no surprise that when he come back, Man City went on and won the league. He has got De Bruyne this season. When coming back, 41 chances created in 18 games. 1.85 big chances per game. He's got more ball retention in the midfield, playing into the thing, more touches in opposition areas. De Bruyne, lads, is the reason Man City won the league. Odegaard is a fantastic player. It's no disrespect to Odegaard, but yeah, if Odegaard can't better Fernandez's stats this season, then it has to be De Bruyne or Fernandez. I went with De Bruyne in the end.
It's not all about the stats, though, Garth. To be fair, you're reading out like, "Oh, he did this, he did that, mate." You got to just,
because
you got to use your eyes on what he does on the pitch, mate. You know, if
I'm doing both, Steve. You're just going off. You love Arsenal. I'm saying Odegaard did really well, but you're picking out the three of them. De Bruyne's the better player. De Bruyne's done more in these 18 games, and the reason Man City won the league.
You think? But do you think De Bruyne has been better? You think they've been better? No, that's your opinion, mate. That's fine.
I disagree on that last one. I disagree on that last one with you, Garth. I don't think De Bruyne is the reason why Man City won the league. I don't think it's the reason.
Foden.
The play that I'm going to pick, the three that I'm going to pick, I think one of these players is the reason why Man City won the league this season. I'm going for the two that are already there, Declan Rice and Rodri. But that centre midfield role, attacking midfielder, is the person that actually came in for Kevin De Bruyne this season and showed what a player he is Phil Foden. I know you can play him in a more attacking position, but I think he played in, I would say, he showed his worth this season playing in that attacking midfield position with 15 goals, 13 assists. Absolutely outstanding. For me, I think he was all round probably the best attacking midfielder in the league this season. I mean, you can pull up stats, but I'm just going off what I watched.
Yeah, I've got Foden, but Foden for me, he got replaced. Like they moved Foden to accommodate Kevin De Bruyne
because it's Kevin De Bruyne. Because it's Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah, exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, but it's because it's Kevin De Bruyne. Like, I know what you're saying.
Contributions in 18 games.
I know what you're saying.
He come back and galvanised that team, mate.
Yeah, but because it's Kevin De Bruyne. But Foden got 27 goals and 12 assists this season. 19 goals and 8 assists in the Premier League. Like it's still. It's. I know what you're saying. But like, it's because the man. It's because he's the captain. Like he's coming and yes, he's galvanised. He's the captain. Like he's the main man. I get. But I think Foden held that team when he weren't about. And still, look in the final game of the season. Was a hat trick in the last game of the season. Like he turned up in big key moments. I know you're going to say Kevin De Bruyne did. Newcastle game is key. Come off the bench, got 2 assists or something like that.
Because I think, Steve, have you got Foden in your team?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I've got Foden in my team as well, Keir, which is what I'm about to say. We've all got Foden in the team, but I don't have him in that position, is all I'm going to say, mate. So
yeah, same.
So what you want to do?
So what? So what? You've gone for Foden in the 10 keys, yeah?
Yeah.
And you've gone for who, Garth?
I'm going for De Bruyne. Yeah. De Bruyne,
and I've gone for Odegaard. Russ.
Yeah.
Russ.
No, we're not an Arsenal fan coming. We're not an Arsenal fan do it.
No, I mean,
we'll come back to it. Come back to it.
We'll come back to it.
I more meant, Kid, do you have a second option there? Because clearly we're having Foden in the team. Who's your second option in that position?
I think I made a faux pas there. I don't think I picked a second option. I mean, look around.
No, I'm just right. But then,
I'm shocked you ain't gone for Odegaard in the 10. He's done this season.
But I do think.
I know it's hard because of the other players.
I do think that it's more of a bias because we're watching him week in, week out. Like I don't think people take into account like the distances this guy runs for an attacking midfielder and what he does, his work rate off the ball. You look at him as technically gifted, but it's more than that. And as a leader, but when you're looking at the cold, when you put that down, and then you've got to the next thing you've got looked at is the stats, then he does fall short on that. Last season, it was a different question, but this season, I think he's played in a different kind of, a little bit deeper at times. So he's not been as attacking, forward line going forward. We've been a bit off at points. And yeah, it's not his fault, but yeah, I mean, we're talking about the difference between someone who scored
1%.
27 goals and someone who's got like 18 assists against it's so small margins. It's not to say that anyone's been bad, but we're talking about the best in the league right now.
You're talking De Bruyne, you're talking Foden, you're talking Odegaard. I mean,
this is what I mean. Like,
there's not really a wrong answer, is there?
Bruno Fernandes.
It is Fernandes, mate. Like, the disrespect Fernandes gets annoys me immensely.
No, he does. I think I saw Fernandes in a different light.
Yeah, you don't like him. People don't like him. I know what it is.
Yeah, that's it. That is it, Garth. I think that's it. That's it. People
year on year
refuse.
Most chances created in Europe, year on year, Bruno Fernandes, and it annoys me that people. For me, that's one of them ones. If you don't rate Bruno Fernandes, I question your ball knowledge.
Yeah,
I really.
No, if it wasn't for Bruno Fernandes this season, I'd hate to think we're Man United.
Yeah, because that's what I think I've seen of Bruno Fernandes this season. He's been the someone you can hang your hat on. Like, there's not really. There's not even like a pin in the wall that you could do that at Man United at the moment.
I think he's right. I think Garth's right.
Take the wall down.
I think Garth's right.
Fernandes, he does get harshly criticised. But we need to move on. Give us your front three, Steve.
Front three. It was hard again. It was hard, especially on the right hand side. No one's really been as good as what they normally are. Salah, not been great, but the stats show that he's he's done decent. Saka again, stats, have stood up. So for me, it's out of the normal two again. For me, out of Salah and Saka, and it's very hard to choose between the two. I don't think there's anything to do with them. One of them might have more goals or more assists than the other. I'm going to go. I'm going to admit it. I don't think there's nothing to choose this season. I'm going to go. Last year, I think I probably went a bit biased and I went Saka when it should have been Salah. This year, I'm going to go Saka just due to the fact that, I don't think there's a lot to choose between the two. And I can't think at the minute. I'm sure Garth will remind me that there is someone else, but I can't think of one at the minute.
It's a big miss, Steve. You're missing a big player who should definitely be there, mate.
You don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right now, on the left-hand side, that's where I've put Foden. Because for me, that's where I thought he played, and he drifted into the middle. I cheated a little bit because I think Foden's one of these players who ends up everywhere, doesn't he? He's all over the pitch. He plays in the centre and he starts out on the right. He drifts he's one of these type of players. Mm-hmm. So I cheated a little bit and had a look at, on the internet where he's meant to play, and it is the left. And the majority of the times he's put to the left, although remember he's all over the place. So I've gone for Foden on the left. Down the middle, wow. I mean, you just got a plethora, haven't you? Of strikers. You've got Watkins has been fantastic. Isaac's been fantastic. I've got another one here that I've done in shorthand, which is HA. Is that Havertz? Don't know.
It shouldn't be. It absolutely shouldn't be if he is on your list, mate.
Oh, no, I think there's an L next to it, so I can't tell. But he started with an H and an A, so it just says Ha. But I think it's Haaland as well. But I don't think he's missed a lot of games this season, although he scored a lot of goals, but obviously the most. But for me, just that I feel that he has to be in the team in the season, and I've gone down the middle for Cole Palmer
as a centre forward.
As a centre forward, Steve.
Yeah, he scored more goals. I think he scored more goals and not more goals than Haaland, but I think he scored like about 4 or 5 less, and he's got, I think, 5 or 6 more.
You can't have I had to put him in.
I had to put. Yeah, he plays just behind. For me, the amount of goals he scores, I just think he should be in there.
Yeah, on the right wing.
He doesn't. Well, in a position he don't play in.
He plays loads on the right wing.
Yeah, he started the season.
He plays loads on the right wing, mate.
On the right wing.
He plays behind Jackson.
No, but he plays on the right wing a lot as well, mate. He's more of a right winger than he is a striker.
But I can say that about Odegaard. I can say that about Odegaard. I can say that about Foden. I can say that about anybody who can play, goes out on the right or out on the left. Top players these days go all over the place. So They could play. They go in the centre. They play on the right. They go left. You see top players, top teams switch around all the time. You know,
Cole
so
Palmer, you've just said, Steve, he plays behind Jackson. He doesn't play as a centre forward.
20 goals, and
I know
11
he's.
assists. I'm going through him up
20 a
front.
season for 8 years. He was never a centre forward, mate.
He played 7 games as a centre forward. He played 19 games as a right winger. He played 18 games as an attacking midfielder.
Yeah, he's a right winger.
Well, I'm putting him up front.
That's crazy just to get Saka in the team. That is
No,
crazy.
it's not to get Saka in the team. When I had a look on, you know, I wasn't too sure where Palmer played because I don't really watch Chelsea because they're pants. So why would I ever watch Chelsea? I didn't know. So, and the way that they set up their team sheet, he was sort of playing just next to Jackson, and he wasn't out there on the right. If you're looking at the stats and saying he plays out on the right all the time, fine. But then all top players don't just stand in one position; they move all over the place. You know that.
Yeah, I know. But
who's your free? Who's your free, Garth?
Yeah, I've Foden on the left, Palmer on the right, Hoyland. I wish Haaland.
Hoyland.
Yeah.
You're telling me Palmer plays as a stereotypical right-sided? No way.
He started.
Foden's not a stereotypical left winger, mate.
Not in a million years.
Palmer started off as a right midfielder or right winger. He did the same as Man City, and he's now. By the end of the season, he was playing as an attacking midfielder at AM Centre. Yeah. Couple of games up top.
Yeah, I've just pushed him. I just thought he should go in. Do you know what I mean? Menduki plays right wing for Chelsea. Only when he's not been injured.
Yeah,
I don't know what you're watching.
It's when Palmer's moved into the AM Centre.
Yes, so I'm playing
behind. What's his name?
Jackson.
Yeah, but Chelsea play is not. He's not an AM centre. He's not an AM centre for Chelsea. He plays as a second striker, similar to a Dybala. Someone like on those lines, similar to like a Rashford who can come in and move into this as a centre forward position.
Oh, I don't know what Cole Palmer you've been watching, mate. I don't know what Cole
I
Palmer
haven't got a clue. You seem to like play Sabutio football and watch football in the 80s and the 90s.
No, I don't know what. You just said you don't watch Chelsea. You've said that because you don't.
You just seem like you think players stay like this.
No, of course not, Steve. But they have positions on the field and striker. Centre
Cole Palmer is not
Cole Palmer's.
Cole Palmer is a second striker. If you can't see that he ain't a second midfielder, if you can't see that he's a second striker, that's the reason why he scored 20. He scored 20 goals because he's a second striker and he's allowed to go into.
You keep saying that he scored 20 goals. What? Ronaldo scored 20 goals for he played right wing. Does that mean he's a second striker?
What's that got to do?
You're using the fact he scored goals.
Would you play Ronaldo
to say that he's a second? To say he's a second striker, but he never did at Man United.
Would you play up front? Would you think he could play up front?
That's not the same thing, Steve. I'd never have him up
front. Exactly the same thing.
A Man United team of the year from 2008. I'd have him on the right because that's his position at that time. Yeah, he became a striker, but to to try and squeeze Saka in, to go through these mental gymnastics there. Oh, he's got 22 goals. He did this. It is ridiculous, mate. But yeah,
right.
On the left, on the right, Haaland through the centre. That's where I've gone.
All right, I'm going for on the right. I'm going for Cole Palmer,
even though he's a second striker.
Well, I mean, we can go into that.
If you can't see he's a second striker, then seriously, man.
Well, I did say that. He played as an attacking midfielder, but he also started off the season. He played the most games on the right.
That's why he scored 20 goals, because he plays as a second striker with Jackson. He alternates with the Jackson and he goes in. That's why he scores more goals than Jackson, because he moves into the centre forward. You can't see that. Surely you can see that.
Okay, if you're saying he's a striker, yeah, whatever.
I said he's a second striker.
Yeah, but what that makes the difference. Even if
who scored just as many goals as Watkins and
if you're saying he's a second striker, he's also played more games as a right winger. Therefore, he can go in as a right winger. There should be no problem. There should be no problem. So Palmer, I'll put him on the right. On the left, I actually went for someone who managed to bag. What was it? What? How many goals this season? 13 goals. 13 goals. I think it was 11 assists, and I went for Anthony Gordon.
Yeah,
and
he was my second choice. He was my second choice, Gordon.
And up top, I went for Haaland. I know people will say he's not had the best season, but like the guy scored 27 goals, and I think it's just because of his freakishly high bar. That
Can I add to that stat? It's 32 goal contributions in 31 games, 27 goals, 5 assists. He's got more than a 1 per game goal contribution.
But I think
how many goal contributions has Palmer got?
But he's in my team.
He's in my team. He's in everyone's team, Steve.
No, I'm just comparing him. I'm just comparing him with Ireland, like as a centre forward. You know, I'm just trying to. You might win the argument.
33 goal contributions. That's 22 goals, 11 assists. Yeah.
Palmer. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, but Haaland scored more. Haaland
literally,
scored more.
No one knows your point.
Yeah,
Palmer is still in my team.
Well, I worry about
Palmer is in my team.
Palmer's
in my team. I've just managed. Okay, your team, you've got Saka, who, okay, stat-wise has been brilliant. After Christmas, visually has been excellent. But you're sticking this Saka over Cole Palmer.
No, I'm not playing Cole Palmer in that position. Why do you keep saying I've stuck Saka in front of Palmer?
Who have you stuck Saka in? Who have you stuck Saka in front of?
Mohamed Salah. Yeah, with the two, I think they've been pretty similar. So it was like toss of a coin. So I went Saka. I'd look at Palmer. I know for a fact he's a second striker. Chelsea players know he's a second striker, hence why he scored so many goals and so many assists. He alternates with Jackson.
Even if he's a second striker, Steve, he's not a centre forward, which is what this team is. That's a centre forward. There's not a second striker. That's an out centre forward.
I thought he deserved, right, for his first performance.
People questioned me having Foden in centre midfield. How could anyone question me having Foden as an attacking midfielder?
Because he plays on the left wing. Because he plays on the left.
Crazy. You got Palmer as a centre forward, and you're questioning me having Foden as an attacking midfielder. Well, we know.
I've just based it on that. For me, anyway. For you may see it differently. For me, watching Palmer, I've seen him as a second strike. He alternates with Jackson, right? So for me, for this team, I thought he deserves it. The kid deserves it. I think Haaland. I looked at his stats, I'm not a stat person, but I wasn't sure. And I'm pretty sure I looked at Palmer and I thought, wow, even like in the centre forward position, he's pretty much matched Ireland for assist and goal GAs this season. I think, put him in.
That's why I would love to have him playing next to Haaland.
Yeah.
I just think he did. I think he did, there probably was a little bit more of a deserve. I just think, Haaland was the easy choice. Do you know what I mean? It was like
because it's the right choice.
It's the right choice. It's the correct choice.
He's only played half a season
and still won Golden Boot. And still won Golden Boot. You're making my point for me, Steve. You're making my point for me.
This guy,
you had it last year. You was trying to tell me last year that Kane was Alan was a better player than Kane, which was absolute nonsense. Also. Right, which is absolute. I mean, he's proved.
I had Kane in the season before,
that was ridiculous.
And you lot picked some scrubs, some right scrubs. I'll never forget that.
Look, I'm changing it now.
The scrubs that you had picked over Kane in a season.
Now.
Absolute scrubs. Well, our team is 3 players short. Because everyone's awkward.
So, no, 2 of us have picked Palmer for the right wing, so Palmer definitely goes in.
Oh yeah, all right.
2 of us has picked Foden for the left wing, and you've picked him in centre midfield. So Foden definitely. When you see attacking midfielder.
When you look at the lineups, right, and you look at Chelsea lining up, right, they put Palmer just next to Jackson. Yeah, that's where he is, right. And yes, you go out to the right. He'll go out to the left.
I mean, he's not in the danger. That's where he plays.
He's a second. He's what you call it. What?
It's where he plays.
Yeah, he plays next to. He's not an AM, is he? He's not an Odegaard or a De Bruyne. He doesn't play in a 10, does he? He's not a 10.
What? So you're saying that, Steve? But that was the team against Chelsea. Chelsea against Burnley. Palmer on the right wing. So that's him on the right wing there. Let's have a look at this one. Chelsea. Oh, look at that right wing. You probably can't see it on my screen. What's this one? Mudryk starts Chelsea lineup, right wing.
we are not going to get any Chelsea talking because it's now nearly 9:30.
I'll send you. I'll send you. I don't know which ones you've got up just to so you can win your argument, Garth.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh, he's doctored
But
it.
what I'm going to do, I'm going to ring you. I'm going to send you
sabotage.
Do you know when it was? It was one of that. Yeah, look. Put it down.
That was the Chelsea lineup versus Burnley. That was the Chelsea lineup versus Burnley.
I'm going to send you them, Garth, because I know I've got. I look for minutes.
Who's everyone's second choice in the midfield? Did anyone have second choices? I had Pascal Gross. Did anyone have second choices?
Who?
I had Pascal Gross. Yeah.
Pascal
I
Gross.
As well, bro. Yeah,
I think he's got 10 assists this season.
Do you know what? I'll tell you a little story.
choice.
Right?
Yeah.
I'll tell you a quick story, right? Do you know?
Quick story, Steve.
We're trying to wrap it. We're trying to wrap. Go on. Quick story, Steve.
No, it was in the transfer last when we bought Trossard at Brighton.
Yeah.
I was told that Arsenal were looking at Pascal Gross.
All right.
And I thought, I'm no way am I doing that article. I get lynched.
Mate, no, Pascal Gross is an underrated player.
He's a
very
player,
underrated
mate. Pascal
player.
Gross. Yeah.
Very underrated player.
He's 30, I think he's 32, isn't he? And like,
yeah, no, he's passed it on that front. But
I thought, no, he ain't done that.
He's a staple in that midfield.
Gets goals,
gets assists.
He's got in the German squad. He's in the German squad.
And there we go. It says it all. Did anyone else have Pascal Gross in there?
Yeah, no, he was my second choice. Yeah, he was my second.
Right.
Yeah, like if we're not talking about Fernandes and all that, like
yeah,
it's Pascal Gross, bro.
Gordon deserves a big shout though. He has.
Yeah, I think
he has done well.
Yeah, I had Gordon. There's our team of the season. We managed. Does anyone want to throw the manager? Or we got 45? We ain't got 45 minutes for the manager of the season yet.
I've done.
There we go.
No, it can't be a manager that's not won a trophy. It cannot be a manager that hasn't won a trophy.
Who did you pick? Garth? Who did you pick? Garth, who did you pick?
He won the league.
I picked Sean Dyche because it was a magnificent job to keep Everton up after having points deducted. I picked Sean Dyche. I think.
No, I can go Sean Dyche. Yeah, definitely. Good choice.
He deserves a shout.
I'll go to Bournemouth manager Areola.
It's not a bad shot either. It's not a bad shot.
No. Yeah.
Did you hear the last week, Garth?
Was it
bait? All right, we'll talk about Chelsea next week. There's plenty of time to discuss. Also, in that time, I'm sure we're going to get some news about who is potential Chelsea next boss. We obviously got to talk about Man United next season. I
think it's Baldy, isn't it?
It's the Leicester manager. It's the Leicester manager. He is.
Has he got it?
Yeah.
Yeah, now we just got to wait to see.
Well, they were looking at. Sorry, they were looking at McKenna as well, weren't they?
Well, he's just signed for Ipswich. He's got a 3-year deal with Ipswich now. McKenna's staying at Ipswich. Yeah,
crazy. All right. That's all we have time for. As always, this is always as mad as a bag of frogs. This pod. It's always fun. It always gets a bit rowdy as well, but I love it. So
Garth, isn't it? He's always a troublemaker.
It's both of you. It's both of you.
He's a troublemaker.
It's always snap merchant over there, and
he's always in the chat.
I love Arsenal.
Digging it out all the time.
I wear my heart on my sleeve. And it's red and Arsenal.
I used to be so placid.
I bleed red and white. I bleed red and white, son. You can't
bleed red and white. Look at my veins.
I used to be placid. I'm kicking cats now because of Garth.
Walk down the aisle to North London forever. Pigeons. That's what I did, mate.
I'm sorry, Steve. I've known you for about 5 years now. There's no way you was placid. No way. No way you was placid. Get out of it. You know, I'm swearing. All right, great pod, people. Very enjoyable. If you are new to the show, press that like and subscribe. It's very much like this every Monday, especially. We're going to be transfer orientated going forward. We're still going to have guests on. We're going to have Steve on there giving us the best transfer news in the world. We have me, the greatest host that's not doing this as a professional job.
Yeah, and me.
and the stat man. Forget stat man Dave. We've got Statman Garth. All right.
To be fair,
that's
it's the wish version.
But the thing is, like, it's like it makes me a bag of nerves now because the reason I'll say anything, it's like I think that was a good bit of news, and then it's like, and then Garth comes up and goes, yeah, but
receipts.
Got
Mr. Receipt is here. Nah, forget Wish. Garth is Timu. He's got all the tricks in the box. Anyone knows about Timu? He's taken over from Wish.
I know. He's got it all there, isn't he? You know. I
thought you were going to say vintage, bruv. Old
nah.
and discarded, bruv.
Timu's the new. Timu comes out with stats you didn't know existed. Like that's Timu. All right. If you are new to the show, press that like and subscribe button. Come over to KS1 TV on YouTube and smack that subscribe button.
Yeah. We should be getting 5,000
I need effects
subscribers
now. I need effects. If you are regular to the show, press that like and press that share button. Make sure you join us from next week. It's going to be transfers, and more transfers. We're going to have guests on talking about what transfers they want. We start off with Man United. We obviously talk about Arsenal, Chelsea.
That take 5 minutes.
The big
11 new players. 11 new players, please.
But the shortest pod in the history of the transfer exchange show. So yeah,
right,
don't make plans.
Outs and roundabouts. Thank you for joining us, Steve and Garth.
Cheers,
Pleasure
mate.
as always, mate.
Cheers, mate.
All right, people. Thank you for joining us. Smash that like, smash that subscribe. Peace out. Stay safe and wash your hands.